hearty welcome to the installation ceremony of Cisco Samvad Club. Before we start, let me reiterate the ground rules. Please keep your mobiles on silent and walk in or out of the room during the clapping sessions. We are all inventors, each sailing on a voyage of discovery, guided by our own private charter. Each personal charter has no duplicate. The world is all gates, all opportunities. Though we are all so unique and have our own unique personal charter, we have come here to meet on a common purpose. At Toastmasters, we not only work hard on improving our communication skills, it's also an opportunity to showcase our leadership skills. And this ceremony marks the beginning of another episode of leadership in the coming term. It's my privilege to welcome our guests. Let me call upon Saravanan to give the bouquet to Satyanarayan Raju, who is the Division Lead Governor. Srikantan Kumaraswamy, can I call upon Srijit? Can you give the bouquet to Sri? Chandra, who is the Division L Governor. Grace, include energy, determination, passion to speak, and passion to bring up the club. I'm sure you would have guessed that I'm talking about our outgoing president, Ms. Archana. Let me call upon Archana to take us through the proceedings of the ceremony.
Let's give her a warm round of applause, can we? I see a lot of nervous faces, which just break the ice. I read a joke and I thought I would share that with you guys. There was this baby mosquito which took its first trip flying. It comes back home. The father mosquito asks the baby, "How was your day?" Any guesses as to what the baby mosquito would have responded?
Fantastic.
Yes, it did respond that. It said it was wonderful. Everybody were clapping for me. That's the reason I asked you to clap. Because sometimes life is how it comes to us and we have to take it that way. But besides that, I think we are here for this wonderful session where all the leadership team take up their oath, and we congratulate all the members and also the non-members, which are guests, who have brought in the enthusiasm for us to run this club, to help them and also to contribute to this club. I joined Toastmasters way back in 2007. Now what motivated me to join Toastmasters? I was very confident about speaking in front of a large audience. I never fear. But I never understood where I should improve upon because I never heard what I was speaking. I never asked anybody for feedback. Let alone all this, I've heard people saying me that I am fast. And I think you will find that a little bit in me still. I'm fast, but I'm working on that to lower it down. There are several minor things that we may miss out while we communicate. And those minor things is where you will identify in Toastmasters. And slowly and gradually you can work upon and become a competent communicator. My previous manager, just Sridhar himself, he introduced me to the first session of Toastmasters. And there was a table topics session. Now, table topics is an impromptu session where you get a topic and you have to speak on that. He asked me this question. The topic was about Mother's Day, so he said, "My mother, she's my favorite." What would I do? I started and I went on speaking for 2.5 minutes. And then I sat down. Everybody was silent. Of course, the Toastmasters applauded and congratulated me for having successfully spoken in the club for the first time. But then I realized, did I make even 1 ounce of a sense of whatever I spoke for 2.5 minutes? I thought I did. And then I realized that's the right time that I should be part of this club and improve upon. People like me love speaking, and we have been part of this club for almost 4.5, held several positions in the officers team as well, and help enhance the abilities that everybody joins this club. How many of you are non-Toastmasters or guests? Could you please raise your hand? Okay, so today is not going to be a regular session. As you heard from Sri, it is about the leadership or where the officers take oath. A normal session would be of 3 parts. First is something called as prepared speeches. The second part is something called as table topics. And the third and the last most important part is evaluation. To know more about these proceedings and how you can benefit, I would urge you all to visit our club every Wednesday. We meet here in Rose every Wednesday, 2 to 3 p.m. Now, we have a very long session to go and we need somebody to take us through that session. An energetic and innovative speaker at Toastmasters. And we sometimes refer him to as the walking Renan Martin. That would probably set the tone of the theme that he's going to present. But to introduce him further, I asked him this question in the morning. What is the weirdest thing that you have ever done? He said it was way back in class 4, where he was all alone at home. Just to have fun, he went to the kitchen, took chili powder and put all over his body. And he thought that it started burning and he didn't know what to do. And he felt that taking sugar and dropping all over his body would soothe the sensation. And that's the weird innovation that he had at that age. And he still continues to bring that to the table. Let's put our hands to welcome Prateek Verma.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Which is the most feared animal on earth? Bat, cobra, spider, mosquito, shark, crocodile. Many answers. But as per a recent poll, when people were asked which is the most feared punctuation mark in English grammar, the answer was unanimous: the semicolon, the humble semicolon. It is a punctuation mark which people have dreaded and they never knew what is the correct usage of it. People have always avoided the semicolon and the colon. They have the following reasons for this. They say the colon and the semicolon are old-fashioned. Some say they are middle class. A few say they are mysteriously connected to pausing. Another very strange reason is the difference between a colon and semicolon is too negligible to be grasped by the brain of man. So much for the tiny semicolon. To give you some more information about the semicolon, so while terminal marks like full stops, exclamation marks and question marks mark the end of a sentence, the comma, the semicolon and the colon are normally sentence internal, making them secondary boundary marks. Semicolons are intermediate in strength between terminal marks and commas, and their strength is equal to that of the colon. And I can understand why it is the most dreaded punctuation mark. As for the usage of the semicolon, there are certain constraints to be used. Rule number 1. When a semicolon marks the left boundary of a constituent, example, a phrase or a clause, the right boundary is marked by the punctuation of equal or greater length. Rule number 2. When 2 or more semicolons are used within a single construction, all constituents are at the same level, unlike commas, which can separate the main clause from the subordinate clause. We'll get to know more about the colon and the semicolon as we go forward, but at this juncture, I think it is time to get started with the reason for which we have assembled today. We have a set of officers who are nearing the completion of their term, and the next set of officers are ready to take the term over. To take the term forward, to have this new set of officers take the term forward, we have the installation officer today, who is a very energetic person, a civil engineer, and a postgraduate in HR management, a person who leads his own business consulting firm, a past president of Sunshine Toastmasters Club, who enjoys reading, traveling, and helping his fellow Toastmasters. Please put your hands together for Satyanarayana Raju.
Thanks, Pradeep, for that wonderful and very brief introduction. Give him a big round of applause. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and fellow Toastmasters. My friend had some minor heart problem, has visited heart specialist. Without taking much time, heart specialist told we have to operate you. Following day, everything was set to operate my friend. My friend was laying on the surgery bed, looking at the ceiling, feeling nervous. Doctor had to open and do surgery. Doctor, I'm very nervous, anxious. For the first time going to be operated. Doctor looked at the face of the patient and told, don't worry, even for me the first time. I'm not nervous. Though I'm coming for first time to your wonderful campus. I'm not nervous, but I'm excited to see very humorous and very bright faces which are very close to my heart. Sridhar is my senior as an area governor. I took charge from Sridhar as an area governor. Today afternoon he has received me with a lot of love and concern. And I had a wonderful lunch also. Thanks Sridhar for that wonderful reception. I'm very glad to be here as an installation officer. I'm really excited to see a group of people who have taken a responsibility to run this club. And before I install, I wanted to share a very important incident. People quite often ask me, what do you do? And I answer in different ways at different situations. Reading, speaking, of course, eating. And my God, what else I am doing? And I question myself, am I doing something else? Of course, why I am doing all these things? I want each one of you I want to ask each one of you, not what you are doing, why you are doing. Can you find something at micro level? Macro level might be you are giving some services, right? And receiving some services. That's what whole planet operates. And you may receive a piece of paper for your services with smiley face, or you may give a piece of paper for services offered by someone. Is there anything else? Yes, I question myself at micro level. I'm doing something else. What is that? You will understand if you listen this story very carefully. This John, football player, one day he has reached football ground in US along with his blind father to play his routine football match. His coach David came up to John, hey John, why do you bring this blind man? Who is this person? John said, my father. But why do you bring him? John said, sir, whenever my father is with me, I'll be motivated and inspired. Come on, how your blind father can motivate you? John kept quiet. Exactly after a year, final match between two states, John representing one team. That day John played so well and John's team won national championship. John has put 10 goals. David came running and hugged John. Hey John, today you played so well. By the way, where is your father? John took a pass. Sir, yesterday afternoon, my father passed away. And David absolutely became silent. How come you can manage to come here and play such a wonderful game? And John replied, Sir, yesterday we have buried our father, my father. And yesterday night, I not supposed to sleep. My father told me one thing. Tomorrow we have a very powerful match. Just sleep peacefully. Today morning, my father woke me up. Hey John, get up. You have a very powerful match to play. I woke up. I came running here. I played just as if my father was watching from the skies. That's it. Rest is history. My dear Toastmaster, you might be speaking in your club or in your office. And you're watching a movie or teaching something to underprivileged children. But why? Can you find a reason? Are you inspiring? Are you getting inspiration? Read a book or attend a Toastmaster meeting. Give a speech or listen to a speech given by one of our senior most Toastmasters. You will learn a word or a sentence at least that may change your life. So on this note, I would like to continue my job as an installation officer. Before I install a new set of office bearers, I have a very important task to thank and relieve present set of office bearers. I would request all the officers of the outgoing committee to stand up. I, on behalf of the Toastmasters movement and Cisco Samvad Club, thank you all for the wonderful service rendered as officers of this club during the term July 2010, 2011 June. My dear Toastmaster, shall we give them a thunder round of applause for rendering excellent service? I am here to install the officers of Cisco Samvad Club and prepare them for challenges that lie ahead. The collective challenge is to make this club strong, dedicated to helping people from all walks of life to speak in an effective manner, listen and sensitivity and think creatively. I will ask each officer to hold the gavel as a symbol of leadership as I briefly describe the challenges he or she must meet and responsibilities he or she must fulfill. Shall I call 7th ranking officer, Sergeant at Arms, T.M. Archana to the podium. Let me read out some standards at the club meeting as a Sergeant at Arms. Arranging the room at least 10 minutes before the meeting begins. Evaluation form and ballots are distributed. The club banner, awards, progress chart and educational material are displayed. Greet members and guests and arrange for guests to sit with members. Greet any area, division, district officers who visit the club and escort them to the club president. Arrange for food service and meal meetings. Ensure that meetings start on time. Collect ballots and tally votes for awards. Some standards outside of the club meetings are: attend district-sponsored club officers training, maintain club equipment and keep an adequate number of supplies, attend club executive committee meetings, arrange for a replacement if necessary, prepare successor for office. Hold this as a symbol of the above charge. Toastmaster Archana, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
I will.
Please, you are ability. Now I will call upon 6th ranking officer, Treasurer, Toastmaster Sudhanshu. You can stand here.
Yes.
Some standards at the club meetings are: receive completed member applications and dues, announce when dues are due and explain due structure to visitors, greet members and guests. Some standards outside of the club meetings: attend district-sponsored club training, prepare a budget to be approved by executive committee within 1 month of taking office, provide the bank with new signature card within 15 days of taking office, prepare and send due statement by August 15 and February 15, collect and send dues to world headquarters by October 1 and April 1. Hold this as a symbol of the above charge. Toastmaster Sudhanshu, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, I will.
ranking officer, secretary, Toastmaster Jawahar C. Standards at the club meetings are: record and read meeting minutes, greet members and guests, some standards outside of the club meetings, attend district-sponsored club officer training, maintain accurate membership roster and give it to treasurer to submit with dues. Mail club officers list to world headquarters within 10 days of after elections. Handle general club correspondence, keep all club records in safe, attend club executive meetings, prepare successor for office. Toastmaster Jawahar, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, sir.
Now I call upon fourth ranking officer, VP Public Relations, Toastmaster Sheila Bower. Standards at the club meetings, announce upcoming events and programs, ask for contributions to the newsletter or website, greet members and guests. Some standards outside of the club meeting are: attend district-sponsored club officer training, promote club to local media, produce and distribute a club newsletter, and maintain club website, promote membership programs, attend other TM events, attend club executive meetings, prepare successor for office. Hold this as a symbol of the above charge. Toastmaster Sheila Bower, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Wholeheartedly, I will render my duties.
Now I call upon third ranking officer, Vice President Membership, Toastmaster Sheila Ravi. Standards at the club meetings. Greet guests and have each guest to complete the guest card, report on current membership, promote membership campaigns, and welcome new members. Work with President and Vice President Education to ensure each member to be inducted after the first meeting, after being voted in by the club. Help guests wishing to join to complete the membership application form. Speak with fellow members to determine if their needs are met. Standards outside of the club meetings. Attend district-sponsored club officer training. Conduct ongoing membership building program. Promote membership goal of new member per month, one new member per month, and minimum 2 formal membership building programs. Follow up on guests, new members, and members not attending club meetings. Attend and vote an area council meeting, attend club executive meeting, prepare successor for club office. Hold this as a symbol of the above charge. Toastmaster Sheila Ravi, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Sure, I will render.
Now I call upon second ranking officer, VP Education, Toastmaster George Thomas. Some standards at the club meetings. To preside over the club meetings in the absence of the president, ensure that a club member conduct the successful club series programs, evaluate to motivate, moments of truth, mentoring, and finding new members for your club athlete once in a year. Monitor club performance quarterly in cooperation with the club president. Sign members project completion record and ensure eligible members fill out their award application. Greet guests and members. Some standards outside of the club meetings. Attend executive committee meetings in the absence of the president. Attend district-sponsored club officer training. Plan club meetings. Completing schedules and assignments at least 3 weeks in advance and confirming each meeting schedule 7 days in advance. Promote participation in educational program. Get commitment from new members to complete their educational and leadership goals. Hold this as a symbol of the above charge. Toastmaster George Thomas, will you perform these duties to the best of your ability?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'll call upon the CEO or a president of this club, Toastmaster Sridhar. The president has been elected as the president of Cisco Samvad. You are the CEO and will be expected to preside all the club meetings and all regular special meetings of your executive committee. You are the club's leader. The officers and the members look up to you for inspiration and motivation. It is your challenge to see that this club enable its members to achieve their education goals. It is also your challenge to see that your club helps the area, division, district and TMI to meet their goals. Please accept this gavel as a symbol of your leadership and dedication to this office. This gavel is a symbol of the power and authority given to you by the members of this club. Use it wisely and with restraint. You are a member of your team as well as a leader. Work with your team members to create a healthy, dynamic club, a club of which everyone will be proud. Will you, as a president, accept the challenge and perform these duties to the best of your abilities?
Yes, I will.
It is now my pleasure to declare these Toastmasters installed into the offices to which they have been elected. Will all the Toastmasters please stand? All the Toastmasters. The growth and development of the Toastmasters program in the Cisco Samvad Toastmasters Club depends largely upon the actions of this group. On your honor as men and women of Toastmasters, do you pledge to individually and collectively stand by this club, live with it, work with it throughout the coming year? Will you?
Yes.
Please give them a big round of applause. Now I request all office bearers to return to their seat except incoming president. Except incoming president. My dear Toastmasters, as an installation officer, as a division E governor, I'm glad, I'm really enthralled and jubilant to perform my duty to the best of my ability. Now it's my time to hand over the podium to the incoming president to listen and be inspired. Give a big round of applause to the incoming president.
Good afternoon, Toastmasters. First and foremost, I would really like to welcome each and every one of you for this great moment, for this great session. I know we are all extremely busy during our normal work, so it's certainly an extra additional 1 hour for us to be here. But nonetheless, we all hope that it's very useful for all of us as we learn from this session. I really would like to extend on behalf of Cisco Samvad leadership team, welcome our sincere thanks to all the guests, right from the divisional governor Satya, as well as Pavas, the area governors Chandan, as well as the special speaker we have called today, Mr. Srikanth. They say what goes around comes around. This is very much true in my case, especially in the context of Toastmasters. Way back in 2005, I was in front of the then Samvadians at the Subramania Arcade office. Some of you might know that we worked out of that office for some time, taking this oath. Now here again, I am in front of you, doing the same thing. But it's a special feeling. It is special because I never thought I would do this role again. Not that I did not want to do this, not that I could not do this. The only reason being, I firmly believe in leadership pipeline, and hence I wanted each and everyone with the slightest passion for leadership really gets this opportunity and help towards the betterment of the club as well as the individual. It's also special because so many of my colleagues have always provided the unconditional support as well as selfless hard work towards the betterment of the club. Today, many of them are not here with us, they have all moved on in their career. But the club is still fortunate to have people like Archana, Sheila and Pratik and some of the other passionate Toastmasters still being part of this club. And of course, all of us, we have taken different roles over the last several years, and we have continued to provide the mentorship and the guidance whenever it is needed for the new Toastmasters. And we do expect that it is the onus on all the new Toastmasters to take on these roles, take on these leadership opportunities, and take the club forward. We certainly need fresh perspective, fresh blood into the leadership team. So this time, as I always done over the last 6+ years, I did not want to take this role, but I had to oblige the order, I would say, of the remaining Toastmasters. And for me, this is probably one of the easiest ways to pay back to all the commitment that I have received from each of them over the last several years. I very firmly believe that a captain is only as good as the team. And I'm truly proud of the amazing team that I have got for this term. And together, I'm extremely confident that we will take Cisco Samvad to greater heights over the next 6 months. I don't want to set target here. Of course, we are going to meet over the next couple of weeks, set the goal for the remaining term of this for the club. But we certainly do want to come back to all of you with the goals, and we do want to work towards the goal. And of course, the only aim of any Toastmaster club, and Cisco Samvad in particular, is to really serve the members of the club so that we all meet and exceed our communication as well as leadership goals. So we all look forward to be working together as a team, and one more turn for that. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sridhar and Toastmaster Pinara Raju, for the installation ceremony and for your kind words, Sridhar. Moving ahead with the dreaded semicolon. Let me take you through a couple more rules about the usage of semicolons, and I'm sure this would be a learning for all of us. Semicolons are supposed to be followed by a lowercase letter always, unless that letter is the first letter of a proper noun. Modern style guides recommend a no space before them and one space after that. So that is the way we type a semicolon when we are typing a document. Modern style guides also typically recommend placing semicolons outside of ending quotation marks, although this was not always the case. Let me now give you a couple of examples of how and when to use a semicolon. Number one, between items in a series or listing containing internal punctuations. For example, 1, 2, 3, semicolon, A, B, C, semicolon, first, second, third. Another example is the place where we use semicolons is between closely related independent clauses not conjoined with a coordinating conjunction. I know that is a bit too much, but if I give you an example, that will be much easier. An example would be, I went to the basketball court, semicolon, I was told it was closed for cleaning. We can use a full stop as well, but this is one of the rare places where you can probably use a semicolon and give due respect to it. Another usage is between independent clauses and semi-clauses linked with a transitional phrase or a conjunctive adverb. For example, everybody knows that he is guilty of committing the crime, semicolon, of course, it will never be proven. This is one of the least common uses and is mostly confined to academic texts. Now, while all of you digest these terms, it's time for us to move forward and listen to some interesting talk from our keynote speaker, who is a very interesting personality and holds the record for the fastest DTM in District 82. He has worked at Samsung and Microsoft, and to pursue his passion of coaching and counseling, he started his own firm, Ankura.in, and very interestingly calls his role the Chief Nurturing Officer. Please put your hands together for Toastmaster Srikantan Kumarasamy.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. How many of you are non-Toastmasters? Please say. How many are Toastmasters? Wow. Okay, this is a question for Toastmasters. How many of you join Toastmasters thinking that you are going to improve your public speaking skills? Just put your hands up. How many of you join Toastmasters thinking that you are going to improve your leadership skills? Well, I joined Toastmasters to overcome my fear of speaking in front of my wife. Just kidding. It was 2006 and I was working as a manager at Microsoft, and I had this fear of speaking in public. So you put me in front of 3 people, I'm done. I just can't speak. My throat will dry and my words will not come out of my mouth. Why it was so, I don't know, but that was the case. So I was looking for places where I could go and improve my public speaking skills and overcome the fear of speaking to people. And one day I was searching the net and I typed public speaking skills, and immediately popped up Toastmasters. I was wondering, what has toasting got to do with speaking? So I did not even know toasting is about raising a toast. I thought Toastmasters was like toasting bread. That's what I thought. Honestly, seriously, no jokes. So then I got the details, went to Bangalore Toastmasters, which was meeting in St. Joseph's College at that time, in Langford town, every Friday evening 6:30 to 8:30. So I walked into the room and the meeting started. I was at the back bench, I was listening to people speaking. For 2 hours I was inside the room and I was going through mixed feelings. On one side I was so impressed with the way that everybody spoke. On the other side I was so scared. I was thinking, they're speaking so well, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. Then after the meeting was over, I was driving back home and there are thoughts running in my mind. If public speaking is so difficult, what is going to happen to me? Because whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, how many of you are managers in this room? How many of you are aspiring to become managers? Okay. Even if you don't raise your hands, it's okay. If you want to become a manager, please understand this. Your people skills and communication skills are much more important than your technical skills. When I say communication skills, speaking to people one-on-one as well as speaking to people in a group. If you cannot improve that skill, then I'm very sorry to say that you are going to struggle in your job. And I was struggling in my job. So I was just thinking, if public speaking was so difficult, do I have to live with this fear forever in my life? And then I found a nice excuse. The excuse is, I was working from 2 in the afternoon to 11 in the night. How can I go to a Toastmasters meeting where everybody was meeting at 6:30? One nice excuse, and I said, I'm not going. But there's one thing which kept lingering in my mind. That was the supportive and the conducive environment. Though I didn't want to speak, I just wanted to go and spend my time in the evening because I liked the environment. This went on for like almost 3 months. Started in June, July, August, September. So one of the senior Toastmasters asked me, why don't you join? I said, no, I don't want to join. If you don't want me to come, tell me I'm not coming, but I'm not joining. He said, no, you should join. I said, I will join under one condition. You should never ask me to speak. He said, okay, deal. So they got me to join in October. October 2006 I joined and they assigned a mentor to me. And one day I walked inside the club and I was pointed to a very young person and said, he's going to be a mentor. I said, no way, absolutely no way. I must be at least 10 years older than him. I'm not going to get mentored by him. I said, okay, I'll become his mentee. And we met and he said, you have to deliver your icebreaker speech. I said, no, the deal is that I was not going to speak. He said, no, you have to speak. And for 2 months, I was pushing. And one day I thought, hell with it. It is better to try and fail than not to try at all. I wrote the script. I went to my mentor, rehearsed it. I remember the date so very well. 15th of December 2006. I went and stood in front of a huge audience, maybe about 100 people. Bangalore Toastmaster is very scary, by the way. Everybody comes like this with a tie also, then you can imagine. I'm underdressed today. So I started speaking, my knees started shivering. Again, my throat was dry, words were not coming out so smoothly. I had thousands and thousands of butterflies coming out of my stomach. And somehow, I don't know how, but somehow I finished my speech to a standing ovation. Now, when I left the lectern and went back to the seat and sat, this is what I was thinking. I have broken another barrier in my life. How many of you are from Kerala? How many of you have been to Kerala? If you have lived in Kerala or if you have been in Kerala any time, I'm sure you must have noticed this big elephants tied to a small stick with a thin rope. Have you noticed it? Yeah? I come from Sri Lanka, so I have seen many elephants being tied like that. When I was a child, not too many years ago, I used to wonder why this elephant is stuck to this stick and why can't it break away and run away. For a very long time, I got to know this is what happens to the elephant. When the elephant is a small baby, it is tied to a very thick pillar with a thick chain. Now, whenever it's making an attempt to move from that pillar, the chain would hold it back and hurt its leg. What does the elephant think? Elephant thinks, I'm not going to move from this place because this chain is going to hurt me. Now, as the elephant kept growing, they kept reducing the thickness of the pillar and the chain. Once it was completely grown, they replaced the pillar with a stick and the chain with a rope. Now the elephant doesn't want to move. Why? Because it thinks if it makes an attempt to move away from the stick, this thin rope is going to pull me back and hurt my leg. And most of us in this room are like that. I was like that. We impose limitations onto ourselves and we never try to do something out of our comfort zone. Here is the request. If you fear something, jump into it and do it. Your fear will disappear. I was looking at Toastmasters only as a forum to develop my public speaking skills. One day I was going through the net, I think it was YouTube. I typed public speaking skills and immediately there was a video which popped out. If you want, make a note of this. The person by the name Jim Rohn. How many of you have heard of Jim Rohn? Okay. Jim Rohn died 2009 December. He's an amazing speaker, he's an achiever. There's one video I was watching, first time when I watched it, I didn't get it. Think in my head, I didn't get it, so I had to play it again. This is what he said. He was married at the age of 19, he was broke at the age of 25. He had a child and a wife, completely broke, behind his bills. And one of his friends had suggested that he goes and meets a businessman called Earl Schoff. So Jim Rohn goes and meets him, and he starts getting mentored by Earl Schoff. And one day he goes to Earl Schoff with his paycheck and says, "This is all the company pays." His mentor says, "No, it is not true. Jim Rohn is very upset. He said, what do you mean? It's not true. This is all the company pays me. The mentor says, that is true. This is all the company pays you. Doesn't the company pay 2, 3, 5, 10 times more to the others than what they pay you? You know what I'm saying? Perhaps yes. And his mentor says, does it mean that if you have 2, 3, 5, 10 times better skills than others, you will also get paid like the others? You know, says perhaps yes. Then he says, the mentor says, we don't have to work on the company, we have to work on you. Now the message, my dear friends, is today, if you are in a situation you are not happy with your career, with your life, you can do something about it. Because your formal education is only going to earn you a living. Self-education is going to change your life. And that is one message that I wanted to let you know. Now, when I did a rough count, I figured out that number of Toastmasters in this room are less than the number of guests in this room. Am I right in saying that?
Yes.
Okay, I have a message for the Toastmasters. Now, there was this young man in the village side. He was a dhobi, you understand the dhobi. So he had a donkey. And every day what he does is, he puts dirty clothes on his donkey and he takes it to the river, washes it, brings it in the evening. Now one day, while he's going to the river, he sees a small stone on the road. He doesn't see, actually he gets hurt because he didn't see the stone. His toe starts bleeding, and he's so angry with the stone, he takes the stone and ties it to the donkey's neck, thinking that he's giving a punishment to the stone. So he's going to the river, coming back. One day, when he was in the street, there's a jewelry owner who sees this stone in the donkey's neck and stops the young man and asks, what are you doing with the stone? He says, I'm giving a punishment to the stone. Immediately looking at the stone, this jewelry owner realizes it's a piece of raw diamond. He tells this young man, why don't you give this to me for 100 rupees, whatever. He says, no, I can't give it for 100 rupees. If you are willing to give me 200 rupees, I'll take it from you. This jewelry owner says, no, get lost. So after 2 days, this young man comes with the donkey, the stone is missing. And the jeweler asks, hey, what happened to that stone? He said, the young man says, I gave it to somebody. You gave it to somebody for what? I gave it to somebody for 500 rupees. The jewelry owner says, you idiot, didn't you know that stone which was hanging in that donkey's neck is much more valuable than that? It is worth crores. You didn't know that? Then the young man says, I'm an idiot. I didn't know that. What about you? Didn't you know that? My question to you, fellow Toastmasters, is, if you know the value this Toastmasters meetings and the forum can bring for you, why is that we have so many little people in this room when there are so many employees in this organization? I'm being a little tough, but that's the way that I can communicate. Toastmasters has made a huge difference in my life. If you join Toastmasters as a first step to develop your public speaking skills, it can take you to different places. I purely looked at Toastmasters as a public speaking forum, but it will help you to realize your unrealized potential. Believe me, it can offer you much, much more than what you think it can give you. if you are thinking of joining Toastmasters, don't keep thinking. Just get on board with it. It's an amazing place to set goals for your personal life and professional life. The day that I realized what Jim Rohn said, I went and asked my mentor how much time, what is the highest distinction in Toastmasters? He said, distinguished Toastmasters.